Feeling like your relationships, personal or professional, are holding you back instead of lifting you up? You're not alone. Success doesn't happen in isolation. That's why today I'm sitting down with Geovanna Burgess White and Yvette Valdenegro, authors, podcast hosts, and relationship mentors behind YG Collaborations. We're diving into how to redesign relationships for success so you can strengthen your relationship with yourself, reclaim your time, and avoid burnout. Create money alignment in your relationships. Before I bring on Giovanna and Yvette, let me introduce myself. My name is Shri, and I'm a social media manager. My team and I help doctors and lawyers build visibility to their practice by creating content that connects to their future patients or clients. So if you find that running your practice and handling your social media is a juggling act you can't get a hold of, then schedule a call with us and see what it would be like working with us. But let's get into this conversation. Okay, girls, ladies, let me ask you, what is your favorite dessert to eat?
Oh, dessert. I'd have to say the mini brownies from HEB. We're obsessed here. The little ones that come in those packages, and you get them at the bakery. That is my hands down my favorite dessert.
What about you, Yvette?
Oh God, the only thing that comes to mind, and this is so basic, but ice cream. Pralines and cream ice cream from Baskin Robbins is my number one, but I'm also that one who I love all of the HEB flavors, and I'm the toppings, and I don't know, just that ice cream, basic, simple.
You know what? I'm going to ask the audience, whether you're catching the live or the podcast episode, share with us what's your favorite dessert. For me, I am a dessert girly through and through. I love tiramisu. I love flan. I love a good custard, a souffle. Like you got me there. Like I will be your best friend if you
That's
have a
your love
great.
language.
Actually, it's all food, but since we're talking about dessert, we get a little technical. But let's get into this. So you both come from different backgrounds, but you came together to build YG collaborations. I am just curious, what was that aha moment that made you realize this partnership was the right move?
I always answer this question, so Gio, I'm going to let you answer it.
Oh, okay. Okay. So before we were YG Collaborations, Yvette and I were in the wedding and event industry. And it was literally on a hot August summer day. We were outside in between pop-up weddings. We were doing multiple. It was during COVID. And we both looked at each other and we go, literally, what are we doing with our life right now? And I said, is this what we're going to do forever? Like, am I going to open another venue? Are we going to keep on doing events and weddings? And that's kind of like the shift that we decided to take and becoming business partners in YG Collaborations. And for 2 years, we went through certifications to become relationship coaches, mindset coaches. And here we are, 5 years as a friendship and partnership, but 3 years of YG Collaborations.
So you mentioned something. You were in the space of weddings, but then something told you there's more. There's these relationships aren't, something's missing, because you probably had like millions of conversations with many couples, and you said you went in and got the certifications. What was the first certification that you were like, I've got to get this one, this is what it has to be, because this topic keeps coming up?
That's our favorite topic. Mindset. Mindset. Yeah. Every relationship we talk about, everything we teach is around how we were wired and how to rewire our brain. And we did our mindset coaching together. Yvette was already certified as a life coach from before. So that was really the first one we went into.
Ooh, so Yvette, you were a life coach. Okay, so let's get into this. What was your calling to become a life coach? Because I know there's a lot of individuals listening, whether they're in their journey, like maybe they're a social media manager or maybe they're a doctor, but they have this calling. What was that calling like for you? And how did you know this is the path you need to go into?
Okay, without going too back far in time, my previous life, that's what I call it, I was a pastor's wife. So I was always around people. I was always giving. I wanted to I just love people. I love the heart of people and the journeys that they go through. But I personally didn't necessarily feel connected in the more religious realm. That's
Mm-hmm.
why I decided, unfortunately, that I got a divorce, went through my own process. But I really did go back and I went, just because I'm not a part of a church doesn't mean I can't give back to people, because I know that we all go through things and there needs to still be support. I just want to give that support in a different way. So that was my connection.
You said something really, really powerful. You don't have to be part of the church to be able to give to others, because sometimes some get caught up in that. Somebody who's listening right now, I have to be part of the church. And you are showing you don't have to be. So I'm also hearing there was reinvention.
Oh, 100%.
So let's get into that reinvention. I'm hearing this a lot because a lot of my friends are talking about reinvention. If you are thinking about going down that path of reinvention, how do you guide someone or help someone? How do you know that they're ready for it?
Mm. I'm gonna start with this one because I think that I had multiple reinventions, because to be honest, I was doing it the wrong way.
Oh,
And I can speak from the side of like there's a right and a wrong. And I think that I just kept hitting my head against the wall because it wasn't like I was searching for things. I was looking for new ideas, new concepts, but I didn't really find the one that either spoke to my heart or actually worked. We can read a lot of books, we can do a lot of podcasting, we can search a lot of things, but that doesn't mean it's actually going to speak to the things that we actually need. So I did a lot of searching, and then I finally just said, I need to start taking responsibility for my life and where I'm at, and I have to look within myself instead of looking towards what was that person and this thing and that circumstance and that didn't change. And I was looking all on the outside. But once I figured out, Yvette, you're the common denominator in all of this mess. So you need to figure out the mess. And that's where I began my journey. So I feel like my answer is more like what not to do versus the things that are there to do. So I think Geo can probably answer more of the guidelines for now.
It's definitely seasons. We are 13 years apart, two different generations, and I also think that it doesn't matter. It's when you're ready and you want to really take the wheel, and then figuring out, not really, we don't really focus on what the past was, but figuring out what is it that I no longer want now, what's not serving me, what are some boundaries that I want to put up, and then what can I do for myself. This is like the investment in me, if it's therapy, if it's a coach, if it's a program, if it's group coaching. And I think that was the turn for me, for better words, for my reinvention, or for my new season, or for my second version of this beautiful life, was finally taking the wheel, taking control, taking responsibility, and saying, okay, I am in control of my destiny, but I also need to feed my mind, body, and soul, because no one else is going to do that for you.
Yeah.
I really love what you both said. Like, it's two different ways of looking at how you're called to reinvent yourself. And especially that I kind of plan a little bit early. Between August and September, I start planning for 2026 because I believe that you should start taking action now, whether it's investing in a book, or whether it's working with both of you, or whether it's joining a particular group. I'm part of the resonance group, and they talk about, we do rituals where we're writing, we're asked questions. And so there's parts of it. You're writing in the morning, you're writing in the evening, but there's this process that you're doing. And instead of waiting for January, you're actually doing it now. And then you're taking the steps so that by the time January happens, you've already started the work. You're not going to. And what is, like, from your experience, when people start working with you, do they see results right away, or is it more like it's just lifetimes? When I say lifetime, it could be like a year later or maybe 2 years. I know in personal me, sometimes things happen right away, and then nothing, it's not a change until 2 years later where I'm like, I changed my way of viewing this deal, or I changed my way of looking at working with this person. Or I see money differently.
I'm going to give a visual on this one. And I'm going to clarify that these are people who start working with us, because I think that people get a lot of information, they see things, but they're kind of like in the background going, I'm not really knowing if I'm ready yet. So this is actually the person who's ready. I feel like from the very first time they meet with us, there's something that happens because they find a safe space where they can just be themselves. And so whatever it is that they're going through, we have this amazing way of just kind of mapping through, okay, what is it truly that you're wanting? And then creating a roadmap that's specific to that person. Because it's not like a one person fits all, like we'll just do these 10 things and you'll be fine. It's like, no, everyone's completely different. But I feel like it's like imagine a door and you turn the knob and you just crack it open. I feel like the first part of meeting with us is they crack it open and they're kind of like looking, through the door, like what's on the other side and what's happening. But again, once they feel that safety, they know that it's a wonderful place to be. They start experiencing, like when you're in a hot room and you open up the door and you feel the cool breeze kind of start to hit you. It's kind of that feeling. And then it's like oh, and then they completely open that door. And then from that point on, it just seems like the universe just takes over and they start receiving and experiencing things that they've never received and experienced before in a whole different way. And it's new to us too. And when I mean that, I mean, because we get to enjoy that experience through them, because we're coaching them, from the side. Well, I don't want to say sidelines, but we're coaching them because it is unique to whatever it is that they're wanting to grow in.
So can you kind of just walk us through, like, what are the programs or how does it work? Because you just recently had the collective. So, okay, first let's start with what is the collective? And then can you go into what is it like, what are the programs or how can I work with you basically?
Yeah. So it's funny because people ask this question all the time. It really takes clients 6 months to a year to begin to work with us. But in the 6 months to a year, they're attending the collective or Haven, which are our two signature events. Haven is the start of our year, of our real year. It's always in February. It's 25 women. We leave for 48 hours. We go to Round Top, Texas. We disconnect, we unplug, and we really start our new year. The collective is literally what it says. It's a collective of women in all seasons in life. It doesn't matter what they do, who they are. Titles don't matter there. It is women coming together one time a year. It's always on National Latina Day. And we bring topics to life that women are searching. They're Googling, they're asking ChatGPT. They're maybe not talking to their friends or family about it because they're really like ashamed or feel guilty. But it's the time where we come together for one day and we're all sitting together going, oh my God, I'm not alone. I was talking about menopause and perimenopause, which was our biggest topic, talking about money, different ways of investing money and what money looks like in our future. We talked about business in all aspects. And then we also talked about aging gracefully and fashion, because that's something that we saw our clients having a really hard time with confidence within, confidence without. What's the right way to age? Do we do these procedures? Do we do it naturally? So we really created this beautiful environment and space where women don't even know who they're going to meet, but they leave going, okay, I'm not by myself. I'm not the only one feeling this way, asking the questions. And that's something that we do every single August. So those are kind of like the two big events where people can come see us. And then in between, we have beautiful socials and events to just bring women together, again, for that safe space. There's no, who are you? What do you do? No one cares. It's like, let's meet the person. Let's talk about your dreams. And if you don't even know what that is, we're going to help you with it.
And we also have a podcast. So if someone likes to listen to things, we have an online space where people can be, like, we have daily messages. So if someone's really into journaling and listening to quotes and having that time for themselves in the morning and they want that accountability. And then obviously we have our one-on-one coaching. So if they are ready and they're like, yes, and sometimes they don't even know what ready means. I mean, how do you really diagnose, oh, I'm ready, but once they get to that point, they're like, yes, I really want to start meeting with y'all one-on-one and working with a coach, with the two of you.
I want to say hi to Lisa. Welcome, welcome.
Hey.
And Lisa talks about menopause and perimenopause and has a lot of articles. Like,
Yes.
I've watched a few of her episodes. She does a live show here on LinkedIn. So
needed. Thank you, Lisa.
So when you started talking about it, I was, and she popped in the room, I was like, it's no coincidence. It was right timing. But I wanted to get into that. Look, if you are not sure if you're ready or if you're not, I just put the website up. I'll put it up again, which is ygcollaborations.com. If you're catching the replay on YouTube or the podcast, you'll see their links below because, again, sometimes you just need a place. Maybe you want to have a conversation. Maybe you just want to know that you're not alone. Like, when did this begin? I don't know. And just being around other women who are going through it, it's a great place to be and not feel alone. I want to ask you guys, when people say I'm alone, what are they really saying I'm alone to? At least in your experience. Because I know alone looks different for everybody.
I mean, you want to go first?
Well, I want to hear what you have to say. I think we're going to have different. I think this is a great question.
For us and for the women in our community and the women we see, I think they feel like they are wearing either the role of being a mom or a partner, and that's their identity, and they're doing that by themselves because they really don't have anybody else in that realm, or they're the entrepreneur, business owner, who they are still in that hustle culture mentality, who they don't want to ask questions, but now they're slowly creeping out and going, okay, you really cannot do this by yourself. So I feel like altogether women just have a really hard time asking for help because we weren't taught that. But I do see that we've made a little bit of a ripple effect, and people are now starting to realize they are not alone. So it doesn't really matter what season, we see it with every client. They just don't even know how to ask for help.
See, and I'm going to give two more reasons why I think. One, I think that women want to be seen and heard. And when they're not seen and they're not heard, then they feel alone because there's no one out there that they feel like they're really connecting with. And then I think the other alone is, and this sounds, I don't know, really either crazy or in depth, but if you don't have a good relationship with yourself, on the inside, you feel like there's a disconnect between who you really are and who you want to be. And that gap in there can create a big loneliness too, because that's when imposter syndrome comes in, or you just don't feel good about yourself. But that can alone, we do it to ourselves, just that one thing.
The relationship and how you see things. So I want to take it into the relationship. How do time and money tie into relationships? Okay. Can you share a story where shifting those dynamics transformed someone's growth?
Yes, it's literally what we call the trifecta. And people, because every time we say we're relationship coaches, people think like love and partner. It is relationship with self, time, and money. And it's in that order, because the number one excuse that we give is that we don't have enough time. We don't have enough money. And so we don't have time for ourselves. We're like the bottom of the list. So when we came up with really the YGC mission and who we are and what we do, every conversation that we were having with women is, I don't have enough time. I don't have time. And then if it was like, oh, well, I'm not worth that. I can't invest in myself. And that's not just with coaching. Like, I can't invest getting a therapist. I don't have insurance, or I can't invest going to the doctor because I'm not sleeping or I'm not eating well, or maybe they haven't had their health panels checked. So it was always revolving around, you don't understand because I don't have enough time. I don't have enough money. And everybody else was a priority on their list, that they were the last one. So that's why we coined the trifecta. And it was all about relationship with self, time, and money. Once you master that, it's a ripple effect in your business. If a business is a priority, with your marriage, with your children, because they start to see that you're filling your cup. You're working on the mindset with all three, because you are in control of your time. You are in control of your money. You are in control of putting yourself on the calendar. And then everything else starts falling into place. We're not a checklist.
So let me ask, because you had to experience it first. When was that first time you felt it in your own experience?
Ooh. I mean, the first time.
Yeah, we gonna go back because we're talking. There is a woman out there that's where you were so many years ago. We're talking to her.
It's gonna hit hard for some people.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it was self, like I said earlier, because for me, everything starts with who we are. So, if I'm the byproduct of how I think about money, I'm the byproduct of how I think about time or how that affects my life. So, I'm gonna say, oh, like I said a long time ago, when I realized I am fulfilling someone else's journey, I'm on someone else's journey, and I'm letting them dictate what that journey means to me and how I want to create it. So that I think that was the first, but then, okay, here's an aha moment someone might have. I removed myself from the situation, right? But I was still me. So even though I removed myself from a situation that was not healthy, I still said to myself, you still have areas that you need to really work on to strengthen who you are again, because you lost that. So then I went through the phases of like, what does that mean for me? Where am I going to get that help? Who's really going to understand this journey that I'm on, and who can I really trust? Right. So again, for me, it was starting with the self and then figuring out like, how was I going to rework, rewire, and get to the place that I wanted to really go to? And that's why, and I'm not trying to sound like cheesy when I say this, but that's why I love what we do, because again, like I said, it's not a one size fits all. And so we have lots of tools, we have lots of experience, and we have lots of ways to help someone navigate their own journey, because not everybody's the same. Mm-hmm. So what might work and be beautiful for someone else isn't going to be the same for another person, or what they're going through. So it's helping them discover they have a journey too. And there's kind of like, your destination you can take. Well, I was taking multiple stops at multiple cities around the world, looping around and around and around. Or I could go, hey, put your GPS on the best place and just take a one shot. Maybe you have one or two stops along the way, but you don't have to keep spinning around the world.
Mm-hmm. It gets me thinking like someone's out there trying to think that they don't have time for themselves, or they don't know that if they can be a priority on the list. I really pray somebody's listening to this and realizes just book a call, just have a conversation, because both Yvette and Geovanna, I promise they don't bite. And if they do, you can come back to me, but I promise that they don't.
Yeah.
So as you are giving so much to your clients and to your community, how do you balance giving for them and then also protecting your own time and energy?
We are great with our calendars. I'm going to be so honest. We walk the walk and we talk the talk. So we, for those of the people that know us, we don't work Mondays because I have a nephew that I've been watching for a year and a half. So people actually follow me for Gigi Monday, and Yvette has a grandbaby and she's a Yaya. So Mondays are Gigi and Yaya Mondays. And then we really put time and intention to Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays is when we meet with our clients. That's our agenda. And then Fridays are kind of like our buffer admin day. And then on the weekends, we pick and choose when we want to work. And then we have an amazing community. And we spend, again, it's where you're spending your time, because that's an investment. Time is also money. And so we've really worked on the planning, right? We'll meet in November and December and go, what are we doing next year? Where are we going to go meet new women? Where are we spending our time? We also are two, right? So we divide and conquer. A lot of people are like, oh, sometimes y'all aren't together. I'm like, well, no, we're in two different parts of Houston. We're serving different communities. So we really do a great job with intention, purpose, where we're spending our time, taking time off. We took time off after the collective. We take time off after Haven. We really don't do a lot of, when I say work, we work with our clients, but November, December, and January, we are very intentional with not hosting events, not going to events unless it's, again, I guess it's like a return on our investment for personal or for business. And I think like really this past year, we've really mastered that. And that is success, because you have time and flexibility, and you do have your seasons that are peak seasons. And then you have your seasons of filling our cups, replenishing. because we're not going to teach something we don't do.
Well, I was going to add that. So for us too, we both have different routines, but we definitely have time in the evening and time in the morning that is just carved out for ourselves. So what I'm doing in the morning for myself, whether like, and I'll just say I do a lot of meditations, I do a lot of writing down of things, just kind of like being creative. At night, I do the same thing, going to bed early. And honestly, I know this just seems so practical, but these are the things that we teach too. Sometimes stress is one of the number one issues, I think, for women, because we don't know how to let go. We don't know how to release, forgive, be in a space of like, because we put all the weight on our shoulders. So when we go to bed, we're just like, our brains are going a mile a minute. So even though we're resting, we're not really resting. So then when we get up, we don't really feel replenished. So again, it just seems so practical, but we really work with our clients with that way too, because that's part of their mental health journey as far as being the best versions of themselves. Well, you need physically to be the best version of yourself too. So it's a holistic whole person. But we do what we preach. I hate using that word, but that we don't just say things. And we may not do, someone may, I don't know, go on a morning walk at 5 o'clock in the morning. That's their thing, right? So I'm not saying we do every single thing. What I'm saying is we have figured out what speaks to our souls, and we help our clients do the same thing.
I'm glad you brought that up, because I mean, for me, in the mornings I go for a walk. Like, I don't take any calls before 9:30. It can't, unless it's someone overseas, I will make some adjustments, but nobody before 9:30. Mondays, I have it. You can't book a call. Wednesdays, what I do is I actually go door to door. So for all of you who are, wondering, I actually go door to door. I go business to business. So I take calls, and just like you, Fridays are there if I need to take some calls, and Saturdays it's up to me. But you really have to think about what's going to keep you, like you both have mentioned, being able to be there for others. You got to be there first for yourself.
100%.
And if you're not doing that, then you can't be this amazing superstar. You'll be a burnt out superstar, which I've been there before. I've even done a post about it and talked about it, and it doesn't do anybody any good. So
no, it's so easy to do too.
So now I want to ask you the very hardest question. How do we connect with you? How do we reach out to you? I know we talked about it earlier, but we got to talk about it again.
It's actually anywhere you're watching. So if you're watching on Instagram or on LinkedIn or on Facebook or on YouTube, it's really just go to our website. We have book a connection call with us. It's virtual. It's complimentary. It takes you to our calendar, and we have a small little intake form. We just kind of want to get to know you before. But this is like what you said earlier, Shri. It's a time for you. Sometimes women just have to hear themselves. Like, answering those questions is the little bit of opening the door, and then it's just 45 minutes of you. And sometimes you don't know what that is, but we want you to just connect with us. It's one link. You click, pick your time, and then from there we do all the work.
And if you are catching this on LinkedIn or YouTube and you want to connect with them, message them. Just let them know that you saw them on this episode. Share something that you got from it. Don't be a stalker. Don't be weird. And for those of you on LinkedIn pitching still, what is going on with you? Please stop pitch slapping. Like,
that's a whole nother episode, my friend.
This is a whole nother episode. But I do want to ask, what is something that you wish you knew before you started your business?
Before we started our business. I think, and then we say this to our clients too, you got to be patient. You got to give yourself a lot of grace. And I think the most important thing, we talked about this yesterday and today with our clients, learning how to pause and really reflect, because we get so caught up in the doing and what's next. And then we don't pause and we don't reflect, and we don't celebrate ourselves as much as we should. I think we're getting better as YGC, but just in general, like, sometimes it's like I got up in the morning and I didn't do my full routine, but I did 5 minutes. You know what? I'm happy and grateful I got those 5 minutes. So just pausing, reflecting, expressing gratitude to yourself, because there are seasons where we get in the hustle and bustle and we forget that we're human and we aren't superwoman, and we really need to just take a deep breath and say, you're doing great.
Wish we would have known. I don't. It's like a weird answer, but um, I never felt like we doubted what we were doing, but sometimes the outside voices of doubting us and wondering, why are you doing this? Like, just all the questions that people had. I never doubted, but I just didn't know that so many people wouldn't understand. Like, even the closest people to you can be like, yeah, I think I know what you're doing, but I don't really know what you're doing. Or they see things, but they don't really get it. I think that one, if I would have known that earlier, then it wouldn't have been such a shock of, wait, what do you mean? Like, why is this so difficult to understand? But and I think too, part of that came from getting certified, gosh, almost 15, 16 years ago or whatever. No one had life coaches back then. So even when I started back then, I was like, Yvette, what are you doing? It's like, no, I really believe in this. And I am very grateful that Gio and I both believed in ourselves and we believed in each other. Like, even though at times other people didn't, maybe we did. We knew where we were going and what we were doing.
I found that when you have the belief coming from it, just even one person, that's enough to carry you forward. Because sometimes you got to borrow from others, because one day you are going to be giving it to someone else.
Yes.
It may not be the person that gave it to you, but it's to someone else. And that's that circle that keeps going. 100%. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this conversation to Instagram. I'm inviting you to come and join us. And we're going to make sure that if there's a question that you had, or I'm going to ask something different, but you know what, you're going to catch it there. Again, I want to thank everybody who joined in on the live, the replay, listening to this podcast episode. If you have questions or you just want to get to know Yvette or Geovanna, make sure to go and reach out to them. And until my next episode, I want to thank you both so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
You're welcome. Have a wonderful evening or morning wherever you're tuning in. Bye, everybody.
Bye.